Hey, welcome. In Malaysia's absolutely booming tech scene, have you ever wondered who's actually calling the shots? From the software you build to the phone in your hand, there's this huge network of rule makers and community builders shaping everything. So today, we're going to map out this entire ecosystem so you know exactly who's who. Seriously, think about it for a second. When a company hires an engineer, how do they really know they're qualified? Or when a new gadget comes out, who's making sure it's actually safe to use? This isn't just about good faith, it's about having a real system of accountability. So, where does that system even come from? Well, it's not just one single group, that's for sure. It's this living, breathing ecosystem with two main types of players. You've got the official rule makers, the ones with actual legal power, and then you have the passionate community builders, who are all about growth and innovation. In this explainer, we're going to break it all down and see how they fit together. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get to know the official regulators. Then, we'll dive into the professional communities that really support the industry. After that, we're going to zoom out and see how Malaysia connects to the rest of the world. And finally, we'll put all the pieces together to see the big picture. Okay, first up, the official government-backed organizations. These are what we call statutory bodies, and they have the legal muscle to set the rules and enforce the standards for the entire tech and engineering world here. So, what in the world is a statutory body? Well, the most important thing to get is that their power comes directly from an act of parliament. That's huge. It gives them the legal authority to regulate professions, hand out licenses, and enforce standards. It's all about ensuring public safety and making sure professionals are held accountable. And here's a look at some of the key players. You can really see just how wide-ranging this is. For instance, you have the Malaysia Board of Technologists, or MBOT, which certifies technologists and technicians. Then you've got the MCMC, which handles pretty much all of our communications and multimedia. Each one operates under its own specific law, covering everything from construction safety to energy standards. Now, the relationship between the Board of Engineers, BM, and the Malaysia Board of Technologists, MBOT, is a really great example of how this whole system evolves. See, BM has been regulating professional engineers for decades, since 1967. But as technology created all these new roles, a new body was needed. So in 2015, MBOT was set up specifically to certify technologists and technicians. They're two different bodies for two distinct but totally complementary career paths. All right, so those are the official rule makers. But you know what? They're only half the story. Let's look at the other, equally important part of this ecosystem, the vibrant, energetic professional communities that really push the industry forward. Now, unlike the statutory bodies, these NGOs are independent and nonprofit. Their game isn't legal enforcement. Instead, it's all about professional advancement. Think knowledge sharing, making connections, and sparking innovation. And what's really cool is they often team up with bodies like MBT to make things happen. And just look at the diversity here. You've got these big, broad groups like the Malaysian Society for Engineering and Technology, or MISET. But then you also have these super focused organizations like the Malaysian Robotics and Automation Society, MIRAS, which is right there on the cutting edge of things like AI and Industry 4.0. So what's the real benefit of being part of these communities? Well, they're the ones providing training to keep your skills razor sharp. They fight for industry-friendly policies. They create incredible networking opportunities. And they work to inspire the next generation through STEM education. They're absolutely vital. Okay, we've covered the national picture. Now let's zoom out. How does a technologist who's certified right here in Malaysia get recognized on the world stage? Well, this is where global networks become so important. I love this way of thinking about it. These international networks are basically a professional passport. By making sure Malaysian standards line up with global ones, they guarantee that a title like MPC or IR earned in Malaysia is recognized and respected all over the world. That just blows the doors wide open for global career opportunities. And here are some of the big names that make all that global mobility a reality. You've got regional groups like the ASEAN Federation of Technologists and Technicians, all the way up to huge global organizations like the World Federation of Engineering Organizations. They all work to create a common language for professional standards, which makes working across borders totally seamless. All right, we've looked at the regulators, we've looked at the communities, and we've looked at the global links. Now, let's pull it all together and see how these parts create one single, powerful ecosystem. This slide really brings it all home. See? You've got the regulatory bodies like MEBUT and BEM that provide the legal framework. You've got professional NGOs like MySet and IEM that focus on growth and speaking up for the industry. And then you have partners in industry and education pushing innovation. Each layer has its own job, but they're all essential. So, the biggest takeaway here is that this isn't just a list of acronyms. It's a living system. Legal authority gives it structure, the professional community provides the fuel for growth, and industry brings the innovation. All three have to work together for the whole thing to thrive. And this brings us to one final, really crucial question. With technologies like AI and automation moving at lightning speed, is our current ecosystem agile enough to keep up? Are we going to need new regulations for AI ethics? Will professional groups need to totally rethink how they train people for the jobs of tomorrow? The system we've talked about has served Malaysia incredibly well, but the real test is whether it can evolve fast enough for what's coming next. What do you think?